I want to begin by just saying welcome. Starr Marketing is a boutique marketing firm based in Whitefish, Montana. My roots are from Ohio, and I will get into my story here in just a few minutes. The main things that we handle at Starr Marketing are just basic graphic design, marketing needs, from social media design to from social media marketing, my apologies, social media marketing, to consulting, to doing event planning, all of those type of things. We're also adding on a full admin portion to our business in the near future. Later this week, it will launch officially as we are expanding. So, Starr Marketing is basically just starting, and we are very excited that we've had so much growth in the past year, and we'll continue to see that growth. I'm going to begin by telling you my story. I was born and raised in a small town in Ohio called Ashland. It is between, or not Cincinnati, between Cleveland and Columbus, kind of in the middle there. It's a very blue collar, and it's right outside of Amish community. Very hardworking people, good people, great place to grow up. You're definitely taught a work ethic when you come from Ashland. I loved my upbringing. I greatly enjoyed my childhood. I was very fortunate to have a very wonderful mother and just two extraordinary grandparents. My story starts in Ashland, and my background is really based on a lot of belief structure that was instilled in me as a child. In this photo, you see a 5-year-old version of me with my nanny and my pap. My nanny and my pap were just the most amazing, down-to-earth, wonderful people anyone could ever meet. And pretty much anyone who ever comes into contact with me will hear some story in regards to my grandparents. I think that just the world of them. They're really wonderful people. Even my dog's name is Harper, because that's their last name. I was born in Ashland, but my family is originally from West Virginia, and my grandmother grew up pretty poverty-stricken and really low education, because during the time period and the station in life where she was, it was determined that she was going to stay home with her grandfather and take care of him, and take care of her family. She is one of several siblings, brothers and sisters. She comes from a very large family. She's always been a caretaker. That's definitely a big component to my grandmother's life. And I didn't realize how much of a component that was in my life. I am a really big caretaker of others. I learned that behavior from my grandmother, and I know that my daughter learns that behavior from me. I think it's an amazing attribute that she's instilled in me. My grandfather was also from West Virginia, and following the military, he came home, and he already knew my grandmother, but they got together and got married and began to start their family. They decided to relocate, north, and ended up in Ashland. They bought 2 homes on a small road in Ashland called Prospect Street. Both homes needed a whole lot of work, and my grandfather and other family members, they did all the work on the homes. One would later become my family home, and my grandparents lived just a few houses down the street from me. I loved the setup. It couldn't be any more perfect. I felt I got the best of both worlds in a lot of ways. I was able to sleep in my own bed, but spend ample amount of time down the road, and I spent a lot of nights down at my grandparents' house as well. My nanny and pap both were very, very hardworking people. I didn't know that that wasn't an option in life. I feel that anyone who meets me it's one of the things they take away from meeting me, is just what a hard worker and what a giver I am. And I feel that these two people gave me both those attributes. If you skip forward quite a few years, My family has grown. I have 2 children of my own now. That's Isabella and Colton. They are 2 wonderful little people. I'm sure we all love our kids a great deal. I feel very blessed to have them in my life. I didn't necessarily feel that kids were a plan for me, but they are, and they are quite awesome. Have taught me a lot about myself, and they are a really big component to my brand, which might seem strange, but they are. For many, many years, I did event planning. I enjoyed that. I was very, very good at it. I did, however, come to a point in life where I was missing out on their childhood. I was missing out on their first steps. I was missing out because I was working so many hours. I came to a tipping point where I had to decide what I wanted to do. Did I want to move on and continue to have a nanny situation that we had? Or did I want to start to develop and cultivate a different type of work life for myself? After some time and some soul searching, I decided that it was time to step back out of that sort of position of working 24/7, very rarely taking a break, and find a career path that would be a little better suited to my new lifestyle. I spent some time and decided that probably I would enjoy utilizing some of my college education, and decided I would begin dipping my toe in the pool of doing some marketing. I quite enjoyed all of my marketing classes and courses and professors at college. And so I thought, well, I'm going to do it. And I did. I started off in 2011 doing marketing really on the side. I did not have I didn't have a full client base at the time. I wasn't really sure what to offer or what skills other small business owners needed. I also needed to have a full-time job to supplement my income, as when I started, I did a lot of pro bono work. I did a lot of work to build my portfolio. We've all heard that. We've all heard, well, you should just do that to build your portfolio. And I will say I regret building my portfolio. I should have charged, even if it was something, to value my time a bit more. Now, it's been several years. I obviously don't, I hate to say it, I probably do still give away just as much as I did when I started, but differently, I guess, now as well. I left Ohio 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago last month, and I relocated here to Whitefish. I wasn't sure that Montana was going to be a good fit for me. I'm very far removed from the normal demographic of someone who would choose to move here. There seems to be two. One is you've lived here your whole life, you stayed here. Or two is it's sort of that ski bum mentality, as I'm going to ski and I'm going to work sort of like a couple of odd jobs so that I can ski the mountain or I can hang out on the lake. Now, it's also a really big mecca of vacation home folks that are here. They don't so much own or operate businesses here, but they do live here, and they are our consumers. Whitefish also has a unique position that we're sort of, excuse the cliche term, but part of the gateway to Glacier Park. And as we see the numbers for Glacier Park continuing to just skyrocket in visitor stats, as we are seeing the economy in this area just quadruple, if not more, it's been a really interesting, cool dynamic to watch the economy sort of, take its tank here, but yet have its push back in the right direction. Also, being very close to the Canadian border is yet another attribute to how to market yourself, in particular, this market here being Whitefish. I find for myself that turning my story, which being my background of being from Ohio, I value that I'm from Ohio. I value that I love the Buckeyes. Some people find it sort of funny how much I love the Buckeyes, but I do. I grew up in a culture where it's a team sport, it's a team effort, and everyone takes the win. And every once in a while we do lose, not very often, obviously not this year, it's not going to happen, but we take the loss as a group. It's a really cool mentality to grow up in, this sort of everyone's behind something and everyone has a purpose that they want all for one good thing to happen. And in a society where there's so many bad things happening, it's a really cool dynamic that to grow up amongst that. I wanted there to be that part of my story here as well. I wanted to create and cultivate this team of women who we can rely on one another, we can cheerlead one another, we can really be there for each other and help support each other in our business development and growth, our wins and our losses. And so we can take all of those pieces and parts as a team. I also wanted to make sure that my story always came across of my background of where I was from in regards to my family. My grandparents are just such important parts of that, and it shines through in so many things that I do. I to this day wear my grandfather's watch, and there is a sign that hangs up behind my desk that is a saying that my grandmother used to say quite often. All the pieces and parts that are me are my story. And how my story plays into my brand, I will explain here shortly. But I want to make sure that each piece and part that I put out as part of my marketing is personalized to me so that the consumer knows who they're working with or who they're buying from. And this is really important for your stories as well. So the first thing to remember is to personalize your story. Now, you can personalize your story and tell your story, and that's all fine and dandy, but how do you make yourself different? So what makes me different than, let's say, my competitor that's around the corner? Well, it's not what you may think. It's not I have a degree on the wall. It's not that I have this uncanny niche. It may be that on a Friday night I'm reading articles on the changes that are coming up in Facebook, but it probably isn't that necessarily either. I hate to say it, it's the color pink. That's right, pink. So a couple years ago, when I first was launching, I was really, really obsessed with the idea that since my last name was Starr, I needed the symbol of a star to be in my logo. I needed it. I had read all these articles on how the color blue leads people to buy. That's why Microsoft uses blue. And I needed blue in there too. I was really, really into both of those items. I designed my logo. I didn't like it. I redesigned my logo and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. And I sort of was having this just identity crisis as to who I was. I was picking up clients. I was working with people. I was feeling good about the way the business was going, but I always sort of would look at my own letterhead and think, ugh, someone should do my branding with them. And so I did. I took my own branding book that I have been writing now for years, and I worked my own brand through it. I created the Starr Marketing Visual Identity Board in Pinterest, just like an exercise that I ask all of my clients to do. And as you can see, this is just sort of a sample from it. One, I obviously must have been hungry that day because there are a lot of macaroons. Two, you'll see that the color pink is sort of everywhere. And as it turns out, I love peonies. So my logo began to develop. I decided that I didn't need to have a star in my logo, that it's sort of implied. Also, the other issue that I fought against the entire time, which I didn't quite realize, was that I'm Starr with two R's, yet I was trying to utilize a star with one R in my logo. I would get irritated when people spelled my last name wrong, but I led them down the path to. So I dropped it all, I started over, and I relaunched with my current logo. Pink, peonies, watercolors, and some fun script. I absolutely love my logo. It screams me. It's my personality. It's everything about me. I love that logo. I launched it. I was sort of nervous as to how it was going to be perceived. I also sort of realized at that point I was about to niche myself. I was about to have most men clients more than likely turn away from my site and my business. I wasn't completely concerned as I don't work with too many men. And when I sat down and really worked myself through my brand and came up with my ideal clients, I have a couple of different levels to different clients that my ideal client is, depending on the package I'm selling or the program we're working through. Now, I learned very quickly that I gravitate to working with women who are trying to build their business and want to help others. It all kind of went back around to that need to want to help and nurture others. And so I decided it was going to be okay. I was going to launch and it was going to be wonderful. And so I did. I launched and the feedback was phenomenal. People were writing me and telling me how much they loved my new logo and my branding and everything about it. And I was so excited. My business just started flooding with new clients. I had finally lifted off my plate all these preconceived notions of what my business should be and had finally drilled down to what my business needed to be and who I was. I personalized it and I set myself apart. Now, the guys around the corner, they're awesome. They're a great, great company. And they offer services that I don't. I, on the other hand, offer services that they don't. And there are different clients for different businesses. I've learned to not be upset or to worry about who my competitor just landed and to worry about my own business and be worrying about how I can better myself and grow my network and help others. So the second thing is to set your story apart. How do I take my personalized story and set it apart so others will understand that they're buying from Rachel, owner of Starr Marketing? Now, the next step can be difficult. How do I tell my story? How do I convey it? Now, there's tons of exercises that if you so want to at some point, we can talk about. But I offer a program called a distinctly inspired brand. And what that is it lets you work through a bunch of exercises to drill down, find out who your ideal client is, figure out how you're going to get there, and how you're going to tell your story. It's not easy. You don't spend a Saturday afternoon deciding how you're going to tell your story and all of these pieces and parts. It's a lot of work, but I'm telling you, putting the work in, well, you will see your business just grow leaps and bounds. Now, the first way I tell my story is via a website. I know a lot of people there's a couple things on the website. Number one, a lot of people are afraid. They call around or they see quotes and prices for websites and they get really sticker shocked. So then they go on to places like GoDaddy and Wix and Weebly, and they start trying to make their own site, and it becomes really cumbersome and time consuming, and it doesn't look quite right, and it doesn't convey the right presence. Now, this website I have right now is built in Wix. It's pretty simple, to be honest with you. There aren't a lot of pieces and parts and components to it. What I'm offering really is a consulting, coaching type of environment where I don't need to have all these bells and whistles. But as you can see, I'm telling my story right here. I have behind me is just my normal stuff. This is what surrounds me. I like whites. I like the color. I like dream big. It's on my shirt here. I have a bunch of fun shirts you can pick up in the shop, and they just have really cute turns of phrase on them. And I love it. It makes me remember that I'm going to get up today and I'm going to dream big. I love my office space. I love flowers. And this image conveys so much of Rachel. And so there I am telling my story. Now, when you want to do a website, there's several things. One, don't be so afraid of it. Two, budget it. There are great people out there who will develop a Wix or a Squarespace website for you at a relatively reasonable cost. And if you sat and figured out how many hours it would take you to do it and how valuable your hour is, you'll see that investing in having someone do it for you will be better in the long run. I fought and fought and fought over what I should do with my website. I have decided to relaunch a website built in WordPress. I'm self taught in WordPress, and so it's been cumbersome at times. I've asked colleagues to help and have come a long way with it. I'm very excited to launch the new portion of the site, but it really is a portion that is near and dear to my heart. So, Starr Marketing is this great avenue for small business women to come to me to learn how they can grow their business. They can see what they can do. I can do the mechanics of it for them. We can give them a great base, but I'm not free. I have to pay my bills. I remember those two cute kids from before? Well, I have to charge. And so I was starting to come to this point where I didn't know what to do. I was doing several, all within about 2 weeks, I had done 3 or 4 consults with people. I do these free consultations, you know, either on the web or in person. I do work with people all across the United States. It's not just local. I just enjoy getting to see the people and go in their businesses. I find that really fun. But that being said, it's not always the case. And as I was meeting with some of these people, I would go through and I was so excited and I love their projects. And then it would come time for me to send out the proposal. And I would send out the proposal and I would send out what the costs were in crickets. I wasn't hearing anything. And so I would check back in and I would nudge them and drill down what the real issue was. And 9 times out of 10, it was cost. They really couldn't afford me. And so I started to rethink, what would I do? I didn't want to start discounting my services because then I discount and devalue myself and what I have to offer. So I sat down and I started penciling out yet a different plan. How could I let Starr Marketing pay the bills per se, but develop a different side to the business that would allow the masses to really benefit from my knowledge base? The birth of Distinct Inspiration. So, Distinct Inspiration is this very unique platform for me. And this platform, what I do is I do workshops, I do webinars, I offer coursework where it's a more reasonable price and it's stretched out over a time period. You still get a lot of value, but you don't get one-on-one, Rachel. So for that, you have to share. And so I price it accordingly. Now, it's also this great place where I like to share content. I use the page really to create A/B testing a lot of the time. I want to see what works and what doesn't work. And so Distinct Inspiration actually has a following over 5,000 people on the Facebook page. I like to highlight small businesses. I like to highlight bloggers. I like to do all these really fun things. And so I continue to grow Distinct Inspiration as a way to feed my heart. In this way, I can also help out other women. We have this really, really great Distinct Inspiration Facebook group. And I have recently hired this amazing gal, Kelly, and she is just already developing the group and doing such amazing work with it. You should definitely get on and join. There's some great interactions already, and I look for the group to just continue to do more and more. On my Distinct Inspiration Instagram page, I don't have a great large following on either of my Instagram pages currently. I won't lie, I really pushed Instagram away for a long time. Not because I didn't feel that I didn't use visuals, I just didn't feel that it was driving any revenue or it really was helping anyone. So I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it. I have changed and revamped and have spent a lot more time trying to work and build those platforms, as you'll see. The biggest thing too with Starr Marketing and Distinct Inspiration is that they are separate in their look and feel. They still both have the script feel to the logo. I use more gold tones with Distinct Inspiration. It was really fun to play around and do something very girly. Not that the pink in the flower isn't very girly in Starr marketing, but it's just a fun avenue to be able to get out to more people and really grow and see what's working. I had to choose my aesthetic for both. I had to decide, these are my colors, these are my fonts, these are my icons that go with my logo. I developed a brand board for each, and I stick to those brand boards. If you want to do a rebrand, that's a totally different idea. When you rebrand, you want to take your old and you want to mix it with your new and come up with a new brand. Once you've settled on the brand, though, you must stick to that color palette and those fonts. So number 3 is choose your aesthetic. It's completely important to the process. I see so much advertising. I pick up magazines all the time locally, obviously. I read online. I read a bunch of magazines across the country on my iPad. And you'll notice that the big names stick to their brand. They stick to their colors, their fonts, their core. And their core is what gives them their brand loyalty. Now, how do you build a lifetime customer or client? It seems to be this thing we're all searching for, and how do we do this, and how do we make this happen, and how do we convert these people? And so what we do to convert these people, in my opinion, is quite easy. We evoke emotion. We turn moments into memories. Now, when someone walks into your business and they're going to buy something from you, let's say you're a candle shop, and they come in and they're looking for a certain scent, and you're helping them, and they have this amazing experience. You're upbeat and you're helpful, and you ask them about themselves and is the candle for themselves, and you get into their mind and you really help the consumer make the right purchase for themselves or whoever they're buying it for. You've now turned that moment, that purchase, into a memory of great customer service, a really great experience that they'll go and share with their friends. And when it's time to buy another gift, they're more than likely going to pull that memory out of the back of their head because you've got an evoked emotion and then turn that into the next buy. Now, you'll see here there's a little mem. On Distinct Inspiration, I spent a lot of time, like I said, doing some testing, seeing what works, what doesn't work. Since it has such a larger audience, I'm able to play around and get some ideas of things. So this mem I put out is like about a year ago. I put this out, and probably the most interesting thing about it is it's sort of cheesy. There's nothing, earth-shattering about it. But the biggest thing is I'm recreating a memory or a feeling. This is where I really started to develop my thought process of turning moments into memories, turning buying decisions into lifelong customers. So what I did was I had posted this, and I was posting things all the time. I would post memes that were sort of invoking emotion. I would post, this is what's new in Facebook, and I was seeing how things were going. And not surprisingly, this mem right here, it was shared 2,500 times. It was shared 2,500 times. 5.9 thousand likes and 998 new followers to the Distinct Inspiration Facebook page off of this one content, visually emotion evoking post, all in one day. I had to turn my settings on my Facebook notifications off because it was killing my phone. Right? Doesn't everyone want to have that day? So what I learned from this was that I evoked emotion. I had people sharing this and tagging their loved ones. Now, we've all either been in love, we're in love, or we've pined for it and watched some romantic movie. And this image and these words give you a memory and pull you in. So what you do is create imagery and evoke emotion to get lifelong customers. Number 4 is memories. So just to recap those four before we get into just a couple little social media things here. One is personalize. Tell your story. Make people understand who you are, where you come from, why they should buy from you. Set yourself apart and learn your aesthetic. Create a brand board. It is so incredibly important to have your colors, your fonts, your icons all in one place to constantly be reminding you that that is where your branding needs to stick to. Have a plan. And then last, turn moments into memories. I cannot tell you how important that has been to my brand. Now, social media. Okay, it sort of seems scary to some people, I know sometimes. Daunting is another word I know people like to use. But currently, according to a recent Brandwatch article, they're a really great site that does a lot of market research. There are 2.3 billion active social media users right now. 2.3 billion, billion. Now, of those 2.3 billion users, how do you think you can possibly say that you don't need social media in your business? That's saying you don't want to be in front of 2.3 billion people with your business. Facebook, 1.71 billion users as of right now. You need to create a business Facebook page and post regularly to grow your audience. Now, Facebook changes its algorithm constantly. I read about it all the time. There's one concurrent theme. You need to post on a regular basis to continue to engage your clients. You need to post engaging, emotional, thought-provoking, memory-worthy content. Choose a tag name that suits your business so it's easy for people to tag you at any time, now or in the future. As you can see here, I am Starr Marketing CO. Really easy to find me. There's also a little check mark there by my name, Starr Marketing, and that is because my page is verified through Facebook. Facebook verifies pages as well now, similar to Google Pages. It's really important that you get on and figure out how to get your page verified. If you need help with it, email us. We will walk you through it. Make sure on your profile that you enter all information. It's so incredibly important to make sure all the information is filled in. I know that sometimes it feels like, oh, I don't want to do all this, but you have to. The more that you have your profile filled out, the more likely it is that it is going to fall into the algorithm in the way that you want it to. Instagram is now owned by Facebook, which is probably part of the reason why I've made the switch to spend some time on it. There's over 500 million users on Instagram right now. I highly recommend that you create a separate business account. Now, I've read a lot. There's a lot of information out there of people who had personal accounts and had really great engagement before, and that now their numbers seem to have fallen off, that they switched to a business account. Instagram has instilled now an algorithm and has turned its tide to be closer to the way Facebook functions. And as much as we don't want to possibly you accept, but that's how it's going. So I have converted my page. I like it for a lot of reasons. One of the big ones is I can get on, I can see when my followers are on social media. That tells me that's when I need to post. It's all this great data to get to. You can see how many people have seen your post, how many impressions it's made. I also really like because it's linked back to my business Facebook page, so it pulls some of the data over from there. I have a really cute, I guess in my opinion, cute description. Branding coach, writer, nerd in disguise, because I am. I'm a die-hard coffee lover. I'm definitely a distinct darling, and I'm a Buckeye through and through. You'll notice next, I don't have my website right there. I use a bit link. What I do is I like to use shortened links so that I can track how many times things are getting hit from what location. I also switch this link out to whatever my current freebie is on the site so that people can easily download it. In Instagram, you can tag other people and other businesses, but you can't actually put hyperlinks in the text in the description. Or they don't go anywhere. You can type them in, but they don't turn into hyperlinks. So you'll notice a lot of times people will put link in bio. That's my link. Another catchy little thing that I'm really into lately is just saying to people, do you like this image? Double tap. So if you double tap a photo when you're going through your feed, it automatically makes you love it or hurt it. And so that's a really easy, it's kind of fun. Of course, people are like, what's double tap? And they'll double tap just to see, and then they get all excited. I like Instagram. I think it's really interesting. I love visuals, so it's not a far stretch. You'll see my second row there, it's 3 posts, but it looks like one. It was to help with promoting a series of shirts that we have in the shop that are called I Am Distinct. And basically, what you do to set up things like that is you do have to use some software. Oh, I totally forgot. I skipped a step back one. On Facebook, you can now schedule on your business page your posts. You can go into their scheduler. So you can post like you're going to post right this minute. And instead of actually publishing at that point, you can schedule for a later date or time. Now, I used to utilize some software to help auto post because I have so many clients that I'm posting for. I have stopped doing that with Facebook. A colleague of mine, Cody, she's not on today. She's getting the replay, this wonderful replay I'm making right now. And she had mentioned that she was getting better engagement utilizing direct posting with the scheduler in Facebook. And I thought, well, I'm going to give it a shot. If she's got that, I'm going to do it. I tried it out, and she's totally right. The engagement is substantially better. So I have stopped using Buffer, which was sort of my go-to in the past, and I now use the Facebook scheduling software that comes with it. Everybody has it. Now on Instagram, there are some programs where you can schedule your posts. I use one called Planio. I can go online on my desktop. I can lay out the posts that I want. I can schedule them. I can type all the information, all my hashtags, up to 30, in case you're ever wondering the max is. And what happens is when it's scheduled and it's time for it to go, it gives me a notification to an app that accompanies it on my smartphone. And from my smartphone, I hit 2 buttons, and then it posts out onto my Instagram page. It isn't automated because Instagram doesn't allow for that at this point. There is one program out there that does do auto posting, but I've heard some pretty bad things about people's Instagram accounts being locked up because they've utilized the program. I have not played with it because that makes me nervous, and I am really enjoying using Planio to plan out my Instagram in advance. It's much easier to cut and paste all my hashtags over than it is to type them all out over and over again. Now, the other cool thing about hashtags is I'm going to talk about it a little bit more too in the next slide on the social media planner. But one of the cool things about hashtags is they're sort of like SEO for social media. They're this tracking piece that you're putting into each of your posts when you utilize them. My clients, I typically sit down, we go through, we pick different themes that we're going to post about to their accounts, and then we come up with a list of hashtags that match that theme. So when we're going to do posts, we can simply copy and paste those hashtags that we've already decided match that theme, and I don't have to type them a million times over and over. You can't purchase a hashtag. It's not like a domain name, but you can kind of take one on for yourself. If you hashtag Distinct Darling, more than likely you're going to come up with something from Starr Marketing or Distinct Darlings. You're not going to come up with a different brand. I have used that as hashtags over and over again. I hashtag Starr Marketing all over the place as well. So next up is the social media planner. Now, it's a free download on the site. If you go to distinctinspiration.com and it's in there, you can download it. There's a link to the shop off of the Starr Marketing website as well. This is a free download. It's 2 pages, 1 page for Facebook, 1 page for Instagram. What I did was I created something because I noticed a lot of clients struggling with how to plan out their social media, and they get so busy trying to utilize software and trying to manage how to even work the program that they're missing the boat on even getting the post taken care of. So it's a really simple worksheet. I still enjoy utilizing paper. I like to write things down. I use a paper planner as well as digital Google calendars, but I still write everything down in a planner every day. I like that feel, and I'm not the only one. So you'll see on here, it's really nice. You write down the week of, you fill in the boxes, what your page start is for the week, what your like is, and what your end is, and what your growth is. The Instagram page just has followers is really the only difference. Now, in the boxes, you can do one of two things. This is the link I'm going to post. I'm going to make a word swag for this on Tuesday, and then I just make sure it's scheduled, that I promoted it. That doesn't necessarily mean promoted it using monetary promoted it, just promoted it. You got it out there, you told people about it, you shared it in one of your groups you're in, that kind of thing, and done. Then I keep track of how much my reach was and what my post comments were. Hashtags used, that way I know what I utilized for the week, ideas for next week, and some notes. And my favorite to do at the end of the week is what my best day was. So I fill this one out for Instagram and for Facebook each week. For multiple accounts, and then we get everything scheduled and we know where we're headed or if we need to make any kind of changes. Like I say, it's free on the website. Download it. Believe me, it's worth it. Okay, so I want to talk to you about some examples of people who I think are doing social media really well right now. They're local examples, two of which I've worked with. One I haven't. I just really like their work. The biggest thing here is I actually did a similar talk to a bunch of farmers, really awesome people. They run nonprofits, that type of thing, a little over a week ago at the Red Lion over in Kalispell. And so I left the third one in here because they're farm related, but I like the fact that I don't work with them, but their social media has drawn me in. But the first one I'm going to talk to you about is the Good Seed Company. And I just love Robin. She's been to a couple of my workshops. We've done a bunch of consulting work together. And she really takes my advice and puts it into play. And she's seeing really great results. If you have a chance to go check her out, she's just awesome. And all the work she's doing is really, really cool as well. We had a little consult last week. We talked about live video. And what did Robin do? Posted her first live video this week. I love it. Yay, Robin. These are some older shots, actually. I took these screenshots when I was preparing for the first speech. And you'll notice her Instagram page was not set up for a business page at that point. It is now, though. It's kind of hard to see maybe, but a lot of her Instagram posts they have all this text written on them. And that sort of scares people sometimes. They're not graphic designers. How do I make really visually appealing posts with text and all these things? And I don't have the money to hire a graphic designer. But there's some great apps out there on your smartphone for the non-designer. Now, there's one that is sort of, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's called Canva. You can do some things in it. There's a lot of different pieces and parts to it. I do sometimes feel like it's cumbersome and it tends to nickel and dime you. But one that I really, really like is WordSwag. And that is what Robin does best. She has taken this app and just catapulted the ability to do things with it. There's a little video here I'm going to show you about WordSwag. It's on the Facebook page, and I'm going to post this replay out to everybody tonight anyways. So take a gander.
Hi, welcome to the next installment of Starr Marketing Tips. Today, we're going to teach you all about WordSwag. WordSwag is the perfect app to make a quick post on the go. All you have to do is choose an image from the database or upload one of your own. Search any topic you like. We search cooking. Choose an image that fits your needs and square crop it for easy posting. Double-click your default text and make your changes. Remember to keep your text ratio under 20% of the image. With WordSwag, there's endless possibilities in the font area. Make some changes to the color. Change up the font. See what you like. Have fun with it. My favorite thing about WordSwag is you can re-swag or add your logo. Remember, you need to have a transparent background for it to work correctly. If you need help getting your logo in the right format, we can help you. No worries. Save your new image with your logo and fun message attached. Access your social media page and publish away. If you need more information or want to contact us to set up an appointment so we can go through WordSwag and how it can work for your business on the fly, give us.
So that's just a little overview of WordSwag. It's a really inexpensive app for the iPhone. I do believe it's available on the Android system as well, but that is it's definitely on the iPhone. I don't know how much it is. It's a couple bucks. It's completely worth it. It's less than a cup of coffee. Another really great business that I have loved doing some work with is the Farmer's Daughter. Candace English owns this business. She's based over in Great Falls, Montana, and she's just an amazing woman. She's the dream client. She's the girl who has the full-time job and is working a side gig literally out of her basement and turns it into her full-time gig. And that is just what this girl did. She is amazing. She is an amazing mother and an amazing woman. And wow, does she make some beautiful stuff. Her imagery is gorgeous. All the colors and all the styles. I love, love, love following her social media. But the thing that Candace does better than most, and pretty much anyone I've probably ever worked with, far better than me, is she tells her story. This is a great postcard. It's just a simple layout I did for her a while back. The black and white photo, I mean, hello, it screams evoke emotion and drive in memories. It's awesome. I love it. She has a little blurb on her story. It's simple. The color on the front is some great dye she did, and her logo, it's gorgeous. I love this postcard. This piece does exactly what I wanted her to do with every bit of her business. She tells her story. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the last example I have here is they are a farm. They're a local farm here, just right out from my office here, and I buy from them on a very regular basis. I found them on Instagram, and they really drew me in, and I purchase products from them at the Whitefish Farmers Market on a very, very regular basis in the summer. And so they are Two Bear Farm. I find them to do social media so well. And once again, I don't work with them. I'm only their consumer. This is just beautiful to me. They have a great shot of their land, of what they're farming and of their facilities. I've been to a couple events out at their property where all of the food is sourced, or most of the food is sourced from their farm, and outside food is brought in from sourced from other farms in the area or butchers and whatnot. They do social media so great here. I love the visuals and the colors, but the thing that they did that got me the day that I started following them on Instagram was the first time I saw this chalkboard print. My assumption would be, I obviously don't know, but my assumption would be they got a big piece of plywood and they painted it with chalkboard paint. And then every week, whatever came they harvest, they would put on this board. And these are the items I would find at the farmer's market. And I loved it. It's like making my shopping list off of Instagram. The visual, it just makes you want to go eat. Food memories are awesome. Food obviously evokes emotion. So there's someone I think that just does an amazing, amazing job. Once again, not one of my clients, but kudos big time to them. There are a lot of other people I think are doing a great job on social media. They're locally here in the Whitefish area. And I think we'll continue to see more and more growth as people begin to develop their brand and really understand all those pieces and parts. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who did come today, either come live or that tuned in on the webinar. I apologize for the earlier presentation not being able to stay. I know this one was probably slightly different. Actually, it's probably a little better. I also just want to say thank you to all of my clients that I have right now, all of you that I've been working with in the various workshops and courses, and I can't wait to connect with you all. Please drop me a note, Rachel@starmarketingco.com. Check out the Facebook page or Instagram. Definitely join the Distinct Darling Facebook group to stay connected, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Take care. Bye.